Hello, everybody. Happy Monday. It's Monday, October 4th. And I was beginning my story and tagged a bunch of people on Facebook Live, and it decided to kick me off, and Instagram's connected. That's not working either. So here I am. I am doing a YouTube type style video. I have lipstick on my teeth. Yep, of course I do. And we are going to tell my story, Chris and I's story together of us, and kind of like a unique, there's some unique tidbits to it, definitely. So I was prepped and so excited to share with you guys, and this is going to be my first upload, so kind of exciting, but it's also very fitting because as I begin my journey in sharing my story and talking about Chronic Illness Warriors Chronicles in different places and doing my makeup tutorials in different places, I've started trying to get used to other different mediums other than just what I'm used to on Facebook. So this is a good opportunity to do that. And I believe life is a book, and it consists of different chapters with different people and different ins and outs. And my other half has been a huge part of many chapters now in my life, and he's my everything, and a really good beginning to start explaining my story and who I am and why I'm here and what I do and what I hope to accomplish in what I do. So I hope to get into that a little bit more and actually make that happen and finish my conversations with a few people. But as I digress, I'll continue on in sharing Chris and Amanda's wedding story and a backstory of how we met, and a little bit of side notes on that as well. But I am going to be doing my makeup at the same time because that's what I usually do for my lives. People can learn some makeup tutorials while I talk. So it's going to be a little bit weird not having any chance for anybody to talk back to me. I'm legit talking to myself, but we'll get used to it. It's okay. It's all good. And my recordings are typically very real. I have kids, I have craziness, I have loudness. There's no filters. What? Oh no. Well, they'll fix it. Okay? They'll fix it. Yeah. Okay, so now I'm gonna grab, what shade is this? This is shade number 8 of the Uno. Okay, they're gonna fix it, and we're going dark, you guys. I'm trying to recreate a look I saw Bailey Sarian do, one of my idols, but again, squirrel got distracted. So, as I said, my name is Amanda. It's now Amanda Carlson, but it used to be Amanda Alto. And I grew up in the very rural area of northern Minnesota known as the Iron Range. My world is very closed off, I learned later in life. But anywho's, my story begins there, but I'm not really going to talk about too much of before that. But we'll jump to 2000 and I think it was 12, maybe 13, I don't know, somewhere in there. Terrible with numbers. But there was, at that point, my son Caleb had been born in 2011 with my ex-boyfriend, and was about a year old at that time. Other factors, and not the point of this story, but Caleb was in the picture. My little chunky boy who was very, very quiet. He was like the quietest child ever. And it was funny, but when there was rumors going around, and then it actually happened. We ended up getting an old building torn down, and Menards came to town, y'all, which was a huge deal. The next closest Menards, which if you don't know what it is like a home improvement store like Lowe's or Home Depot. And it was so exciting. It's pretty exciting when a town of 9,000 gets anything new. And that's like the big town. Hey, Caleb. And so we were very excited for that. And then that excitement grew a lot. Go make sure that door is locked out there, because I think your brother... Oh, good. He's getting squash. I didn't know he was. I don't want to... Oh, thank you. I get...
Two.
Yes, big. 1, 2. That one's very big. Okay, apparently I need squash doing my makeup. But... Anywho's, so, like, Menards, they actually are a fairly good retail store to work for. No, Elijah, give me that. Please give it to Mommy. That can hurt you. Thank you. And they have they pay their employees not good, but at least a lot more than all the other retail stores around the area paid. So everybody's applying, trying to get a job there. And they do a fast store opening. So they hired a lot of people because essentially the work that they do is they do in the course of a month that takes most of their stores 3 months to do. They push through to opens after they get the buildings built fast and hard. But anyway... I applied, I ended up I was working at Claire's at that time, and our family deli was in the process of shutting down, so I was really, really needing another job. I applied, and all the full-time positions had been taken, but I went through the interview process, and they're like, well, what are you looking to do? I'm like, well, I don't know, I like being creative. I guess I didn't really think about what department, type of place that I'd go into, but I like being creative and picturing and stuff. And they're like, well, what about cabinets and appliances? And I'm like, oh. And they're like, designing kitchens, and we teach you and train you on that, and then also selling large appliances. I'm like, oh, that sounds really cool. So even though it was just a part-time position, I could have taken like a full-time cashier position, but I just didn't feel right. I took a part-time cabinets and appliance position, and I was super excited. But then a couple weeks later, I got a call right before we were about to start, and they said that their full-time cabinets and appliance person that they had hired had taken a different job. So they had a full-time position available in my department. Would I be interested in taking it? Yes. At that time, I was with my ex. We were in the process of going through and breaking up, but we weren't doing well at all. Struggling. I mean, our house wasn't heated at times, and it was rough. So I was really looking forward to getting a good paying job and being able to support my son more and not feel so unworthy, because sometimes you really do feel that when you can't. I was just like ecstatic when I got the call to be full-time. I lost my... No. Oh, never mind. We're good. And so I took that offer most definitely right away, and then I began, we had to do extra training because I was the full-time. There's only that and the managers for the process. So I had to get trained in another store and do things like that. But it became that they gave us the start date. I went down to Duluth to get some training, and then we started store setup, which was oh my goodness, hard. We worked 12 at minimum hour days, 6 days a week, 5 to 6 days a week. And then by the end, it was 7 days a week. It was insane. All we did was work. It was so tiring. And blisters on your feet, bad type of thing. It was awful. But we got it all done. We set up the store. We put all the product on the shelf. And during that time, like, there's like a whole group of people from out of town that have worked at different Menards come in to help set up the store. And they're only there for store setup. They're not, they're there to set up the store and then they leave. And then there's another group that come in that stay for a while. But anyways, so there were so many people that were in town that were like, you're not, we called them out of towners, like all of us that are from the range and doing this, like, who didn't know who was who and didn't really matter, I guess. But after the store setup crew left and we got through that challenge, there was somebody that stayed that I definitely didn't recognize, but I had talked to a few times. And then, long story short, is Chris had taken and moved from Blaine, where I now live, to Virginia to take a management position at that Menards in Virginia. So, therefore, he stayed. So that was awesome. But we ended up talking after the store went open for a while and getting to know each other. And then when we began dating, and like Menards literally is what brought us together. So there's like a special little spot in our heart. And I just realized that I'm doing green eyeshadow, which was not on purpose. But like that is legit really how we met, is because of Menards. He moved to Virginia to open that store, and I met him there.
Yeah, you met him at Menards, you told me.
I did. And so I used stealing Daddy's shoes. After that, it ended up being that we were definitely one of those, we never left each other's side after we began dating, and Caleb loved him so much. He'd just get the big smiles, and we'd go visit him at the store. Okay, that works. And yeah, it was all really, really good. And then in the summer, I don't know, I think it was 2013, I think the summer of 2013. Then we were at the North Shore in Duluth, and we ended up we were like just walking and picking up rocks off the shore. It's a beautiful place if you've never been. And we ended up getting engaged. It was really beautiful in Duluth, and it just was a special day and a special memory. Caleb, you didn't shut the fridge. Please stop running through the house. Yeah, you guys.
I'll be back
Sorry.
in a second. Let's open the door.
All right, or let's keep going. So then, what happened then? So we got engaged. Long story short is after years and years of battling my health problems, and it literally was to the point where my primary care doctor said they would no longer be able to treat me anywhere on the range. I'd have to travel to Duluth for just primary care, which is an hour drive, and then to the cities for most of my other doctoring and specialty, because nobody else could see me. It was heartbreaking, and just we were going through a lot of hard times, and working the retail and other factors in life, and just there was a lot going on. And it ended up being that Chris's mom made a recommendation of maybe like us moving down here and staying with her, and we ended up doing that. There's a lot in between all of this, obviously, and I'm not gonna go there, but our engagement and wedding ended up being postponed several times because I would end up needing another surgery. My hip was going through this stage where it liked to dislocate, And so we just kept postponing because we weren't able to do it. It just endless medical bills and stressors. And then I ended up taking a job at the Menards here in Coon Rapids, and then he worked at the Blaine store when we first moved here. So we moved here. I got a job at the Menards in Coon Rapids. He got the Menards in Blaine. And and we lived in the basement of his mom's house and with her in the home. And that was only about a year or so. But we ended up having factors change and other issues. And do you need me, Caleb? I'm gonna have to come back.